Hello everyone, my name is Oner. I'm a cybersecurity semester 3 student at the Fontes Hogescholen. In this video I'll be covering the changes I've created on my network for the past 3 weeks. This video is the second part of my first video. In this first video you probably saw this networking diagram. It's my old one. And I've changed it. I've made it more simple to follow and I've simplified the icons a bit. I've made it more clear which clients are connected to which VLANs exactly and which interfaces my firewalls may have. I've also changed the IP notations, so this pool of IP addresses are basically limited by their subnet. There are some exclusions to the pool, which are basically the first 10 IP addresses in most cases. In this video I will be showing you the implementation of my OpenVPN, which allows my Roadrunner to connect through the internet. And once connected, he will gain access to my DMZ and my client network. An important change I've made as well since my last video was some of the changes I've created to my routing. What I've done is added a gateway from my first firewall to my second firewall, and then added a static route on that gateway, which basically says that anything that belongs to the 10 network should be forwarded to my second firewall. And my second firewall can internally resolve it back to my client network. Now there's an argument to be made in this situation. Some say that you shouldn't allow your DMZ network to be able to access your client network at all. And I agree with those people. But it's just for an implementation of my OpenVPN, I've had to create that for my Roadrunner to be able to tunnel through my client network. Now, if I wanted to do this differently, I could implement a second OpenVPN configuration on my second firewall. My first firewall would have to route the port of that OpenVPN configuration to the second one. And the second one could actually say that he's able to connect or tunnel to the 10 network. By doing that, I could disable the gateway and the static route to my second firewall, which is a situation I'm working towards, but I'm not quite there yet. So right now I will be demonstrating to you my OpenVPN. So right here you can see my server has access to both of my firewalls. One of the changes I've created as well during the past 3 weeks is I've reconfigured my DNS, but there are still some issues. Like you can see that I'm reaching the second firewall by its domain or host name right now instead of its IP address. The issue I'm still having is my Roadrunner, once he connects to the OpenVPN, for some reason he can't see that the firewall names, host names are FW01 and FW02, but he can't connect to them through their IP address. So that's a problem I'm still solving, I suppose. Right, so this is my Roadrunner. My Roadrunner should theoretically be on the internet, but right now he is between the internet and my firewall. And for the sake of this demonstration, I will show you that he can also connect to my VPN through outside of my local WAN situation, I should say. I'm gonna connect him to the United Kingdom. I will use VPN software I've used in the past before. This way he will actually be on the internet and not sort of think that he's between these two. Right, he's connected. Now I will connect my OpenVPN. I don't want to show you the log because I'm afraid my external IP address will show in there. Alright, he's connected. And right here you can see that my Roadrunner is now able to access both my DMZ network, which means my FW01 firewall, and the second. Another change I've made was the certifications of my pfSense boxes. The connection is now secure, and it's a self-signed certificate, which means for Chrome to accept it as one, you need to add it to the Trusted Root Certificate Authority pool. The second pfSense box, I don't have that enabled, just so I can demonstrate how it looks when it's not secure. The second pfSense implementation also uses the default web configurator certificate, which Chrome doesn't trust because it's self-signed and it isn't added to its Trusted Root Certificate Authority list. Right. Here you can see that the 10 ... network is added to his routing through the 192.168.50.1 gateway, which basically means that my OpenVPN is using a gateway to tunnel the traffic. And it has access to both of these local networks. Should I expand my network, for example, by adding a server pool, I could add the server addresses to the IP4 local network list. The way I have set up my authorization to my OpenVPN is by user, which basically means that it's using the users on my pfSense as authentication. Now you can change this, you can add an SSL certificate to it, and I will most likely be doing this for my next video. So that way, for my management interface, it could be interesting if I added something like a two-factor authentication to gain access to my servers, which means I would get a second OpenVPN on my second firewall, and that firewall would have two VPN configurations, one for my client network and one for my server network. The one for my client network could be pretty simple to authenticate for, and one for my server network could be pretty complicated. I could add something like a two-factor authentication to it. Well, thank you for watching my video, and until the next one. Goodbye.